Hello, good people. Emmanuel Sanyasafali here, bringing you the Actuary's Promise. For those who have been following in the past, I've been calling this show The Promise, but I got feedback from the audience that they were confused a little bit by the title, because could it be a marriage promise? Could it be something related to just motivation speaking? And I just wanted to make it clear that this is a show to explain deeper and to make you understand better, and also embrace the culture of insurance. Now, who is an actuary? An actuary is a professional who compiles information that they use to analyze statistics and to compute premiums related to insurance and also the risks that are managed therein. So in a brief, that is who an actuary is. And this show is going to help you understand deeper, simply in a very simple man's understanding, what insurance is all about and how vital it is to your day-to-day life, especially in this new normal. So with that brief, I want to welcome you to the Actuary's Promise. Let's get in a small break, and then we come and get back to the show, the gist of the show. Now, about a brief historical perspective of insurance and risk management. This, of course, in African setting, we have had our own Ubuntu setup, whereby we take care of each other. We have this socialist idealism that we could take care, we are each other's brother's keeper. But of course, times have changed, capitalism has set in, and we have to know that now either the nation will have to take care of you in some developed countries, or you have to take care of yourself. Actually, they used to be the state or the institutions, but ultimately the individual has to take care of themselves in case of any risks happening. And I have observed that Ugandans, we are mostly an entrepreneurial country. We have so many people that do so many things on their own. In fact, one speaker called Vusi last year had a talk with NSSF, and he mentioned how our national culture as Ugandans is having the second hustle, the entrepreneurial blood. We want to, and also we are knowledge-based. We want to know what is the next best thing on the market. But with all that said, I just want to take you briefly back to where this social security awareness began. And it was enacted. There was something that is called the American Social Security Act that was enacted in 1934 by the American president then, called Franklin Roosevelt, who I will allow you to let me quote him, who said that we as a nation can never insure 100% of the population against 100% of life hazards. But we have tried to frame this law to give some measure of protection to the average citizen, to his family, so that they are protected from the loss of job or against poverty-ridden old age. Now, this was more or less setting mostly life insurances and retirement benefits schemes, but also it gave context to the general insurance that I wanted us to delve deeper today. And on that note, I want to start that here in Uganda, when you talk about insurance, the first thing that comes to mind for anyone is motor third-party insurance. In our local lingua, people call it insua or omusolo gwa government. And indeed, it is more like a government tax, of which recently, as of this year, 2021, it has been digitized. It has been enrolled within the URA portal using mobile money, is where now you have to pay, and you put in your number plate, and it calculates for you, or it tells you how much you have to pay on mobile money, and then you go to the nearest outlet of the third-party outlets, usually petrol stations. Various companies have made partnerships with various petrol stations, and also some other outlets around supermarkets that you can go to after you have made that payment. They give that sticker, then they make reconciliation with the insurance company. But what does that cover? When you talk about third-party insurance, it is actually cover against legal liabilities for injuries or death or property damage caused to third parties. That is any other person who is outside of the insurance contract that will suffer damage or death or any injury as a result of the insured car's insurance, whether the car, whether the motorcycle, even a bike, yeah, possible. But what is the law talking about here in Uganda? Actually, this law was enacted in 1989, and it set a limit of 1 million shillings for bodily injury should anything happen to these people outside the vehicle, outside of the insurance contract. Should your car lose control and it causes an accident to a person, it knocks them, we're only liable to pay up to 1 million shillings after you have paid your 68,000 in premiums, of which the insurance company only contributes about 22,000 shillings. It's what they get to the pool of funds to compensate that 1 million shillings. And the rest go into taxes. And that's why now URA saw it fit that they collect that money directly, and the insurance company just gets the other bit later. So where we're headed, possibly as we wait for the change of law to enhance better those benefits, because 1989 and now is a long time. There's need for change, but in that absence of change, you can actually get something better, which is what we call the enhanced third party, whereby you can actually cover now the other, what we call property damage, assets for other people. And it can be anywhere, depending on the limit that you set. We can also compute the premiums accordingly. But that one you have to go directly to the insurance company, they compute for you. Or you reach out to their agents. But most importantly, for any person who has owned a car and you want to save yourself the hassle of really going into these arguments with people that you knock, or they knock you in the road, please, I advise that you take out a comprehensive insurance. For small vehicles, it's usually 4% of the value of the vehicle. For commercial vehicles, there's vans, there's pickups. It could go to about 5 to 6%. Then the buses, it's also something else. But we have calculated all that. Why I'm saying all this is because these are things that we should take up as a culture to have all our assets insured. Starting with, of course, people who own vehicles, because these are things that are moving every other day outside, and the exposure is quite high. You have to appreciate that risk as well. The other point that I want to talk about, or the other product that I have observed is lacking in our country, but needs to be taken more seriously, especially at the beginning of the year like this, when it's in the first quarter, we still have a chance, is the medical insurance or health insurance. And how does health insurance work? First of all, there are insurance companies that can offer the health insurance. Then there are also what they call the health maintenance organizations. Those are called HMOs in short. And those are companies or hospitals that have actually their own clinics and hospitals, but they want to manage and set up a fund to take care of their clients should anything happen to them. They don't have to pay. They don't have to come with cash, but they just, as long as they're members, they get medication up to their limits. So the difference between an HMO and an insurance company is the insurance company doesn't own a hospital, but they contract these hospitals. And usually they have a bigger network of hospitals to work with to not only give you the best service, but also to avoid conflict of interest. Because if you own your own hospital, many times you prevent your clients to go anywhere else to seek a second opinion because you want to maintain them there. And there's somehow a compromise in terms of the service the client will get medically. But now, of course, if you're in a country where our national healthcare systems or hospitals are not run to the best of their ability, because yes, I interfaced with them firsthand when I suffered an injury on the head, and I was taken to Mulago just last year in 2020 in March. And when I interfaced with the hospital after I gained some consciousness at around 4 a.m., that was March last year, Women's Day to be specific, the doctors told me, or the nurse that I was on duty told me that they couldn't touch me because they didn't have gloves. And if this can happen in Mulago, why can't it happen any other national hospital? So why do you, as an individual, leave your health to chance, saying that maybe if anything happens, there are government hospitals that will take care of you? No, I think we have to be serious and take the health issue into our hands. And that's how can you take it out into our hands is by taking out either a family medical insurance plan, family or individual, it's also possible. But also it becomes cheaper if we come as a corporate entity. I want to show you the example of a family insurance package, and I want to concentrate on this yellow background. This is like the highest benefit of about 100 million per family, or it can even be per person, in case you become hospitalized. Inpatient is whenever someone is hospitalized, so that's the limit you want to cover yourself. And then outpatient is 5 million. That is in case you you just go for general consultation or medications from the list of such providers, any hospital that you go to, they will charge you those kind of things that, well, as long as you're not hospitalized, that's the limit for the year. And then dental, say 400,000, and optical about 400,000 again. Then maternity, this one I'll put a big question mark, a big asterisk or star, because it's optional. Maybe just a brief here is, in case you need it, it has a waiting period if you come as a family. So there's a waiting period of 1 year. So you start on it this year and then utilize it the following year, because maternity is supposed to be planned for. So think about it in that way. But then the premiums for it, you'll find that for a family of 4, the main member, or usually the husband or someone older, the premiums for all these limits, all these packages is shown. So you'll find that this family of 4 is charged about 7.8. I'll show you the highest benefit and also the lowest benefit. The lowest benefit is this one, which we call essential. Someone being covered 15 million inpatient and 1.5 outpatient, dental of 150,000. That is you're checking on your teeth or doing scaling, and then optical, those are for the specs and usually cleaning of your eyes. Also maternity here, the benefit is 1.5, but you can see these are another premium that we charge. So you find that this family of 4, we're charging 3.68 million over a whole period of the year. And it can come lower than this if you remove the maternity, if you are not interested in taking on the maternity for that year. So this is for the individual package. When it comes to corporate, we meant here at least 10 staff and more for an organization. This is an example of one, whereby the highest, whereby we are covering about 70 million inpatient per person in that company, and then 4 million outpatient, again per person, optic of about 600,000, and dental of 600,000. So you find that each person in that organization, we're only going to charge 1.177 million over for the whole period. So the premium for the total of this company, if they take the highest benefit, will be 13 million. Then the lowest, if we consider the lowest, which is 20 million, and for inpatient, and outpatient of 2 million in case they're hospitalized. Then optical and dental of 300,000. You find that there is a very significant saving if this company or this grouping takes on this package at 784,000 for the whole year. So making the total premium for this group of about 11 people about 8.7 million for the whole year. At least 10 staff or members or more, you can negotiate for something better with less restrictions, but with a wider coverage. Yeah, because insurance is also a game of large numbers. The more people that are involved, the less expensive it becomes, the more affordable it becomes, and yet the coverage is wider. Because if you come as an individual, there are some waiting periods, especially for maternity issues. For instance, ladies who come for the individual plan have to come knowing that there's a waiting period of 1 year for maternity issues. So for people who are planning to get pregnant, they have to plan accordingly. You pay for that additional maternity benefit 1 year in advance, and then utilize it the following year. But for all other classes of health care, like inpatient and outpatient, those ones, there's usually a waiting period of just 1 month after you have paid your premium. So we do all those computations, and we're going to bring more of the service providers to you to explain in detail and how affordable they are and how quick and relevant their service is. For corporate, that of course will also depend on the numbers that you have as an organization or as an association or any grouping that you have. It could also be a family. That you'll find that is usually 80% more cheaper or more affordable than if you go at it as an individual or as a family. So, I think with that information on third party and then health insurance, I pray that you can give your comments in the links on our social media channels for any other questions, and then we shall delve deeper as the show goes on. So let's go in for a break, and let's remember to hope for the best while preparing for the worst. This time, we want to discuss more about agriculture insurance. Have you heard about agriculture insurance? For a nation that depends about 60% of our backbone, our economy, runs on agriculture, yet we don't have as much input in agriculture insurance. But the good news is there's something we call the Agro Consortium. The Agro Consortium is a coalition of 10 insurance companies that was set up to provide agriculture insurance under the Uganda Agriculture Insurance Scheme. So the 10 companies, we shall actually bring someone from the consortium who will elaborate more on the dealings. But the good news, again, is that government has also come in partnership under the Ministry of Finance to subsidize on the premiums all the farmers are going to be contributing. Yeah? Isn't that good news? I guess so. So whether it is the crop insurance, depending on the produce or what you are involved in, and also depending on the season of your whatever you're producing, whether it's pineapples, whether it's bananas, whether it's coffee, name it. We need to know, we are actually working with organized farmers who have records of what they have been producing in the past seasons, and we use that as a basis to estimate your maybe your assumed yield in the following season, and that's actually what we cover. But we also have something related to livestock, whether you're dealing with cows or goats whether it is pigs, and of late also poultry. Fish is also something we have also interested ourselves, but people in the consortium are going to elaborate further on that when the time comes. So watch the space on this show when you call out these experts who run all these inspections. They tell us, they compute for us the subsidies that people contribute, the government contributes to your premiums, because the subsidies are usually between 30 to 50% of your premium. But the taxes, as the client or the farmer, you have to meet them for you to enjoy all these services. And what is the benefit? If it is for livestock, of course, there is loss. It could be just animal theft. It could be poisoning. Then it could be some pandemics, or what are they called? Epidemics, actually, that are spread out, that can just hit an area. And also they have also inculcated locusts challenges. Anything that will affect the value chain of your produce, and also animal production. So there's a lot that we can discuss on that, but it is something that I want you to embrace. Let's send more questions. What we usually do, actually, when you're interested, we send you a proposal form requesting for more details about your farm. You give us the acreage, or possibly, and these days technology has helped, we can actually get the GPS coordinates of the farm, because we can also monitor the weather conditions under that GPS coordinate, so that in case of severe droughts and cases of severe floods or landslides, you'll be covered. Yeah. So there's a lot that we can do with this with this mechanism called insurance, so that you can not become a victim of circumstance whenever those issues happen. These are called acts of God, for instance, sometimes, but they shouldn't take you back to square one. All you need to be doing in such scenarios is using those lessons to improve your services, so that it doesn't affect you next time. But should it happen, you don't have to start from square one. You have someone who will back you up and get that resilience to stand up again and do whatever you're supposed to do, and become the food basket of the world, the way we used to be, not to get these severe shocks. And also maybe to give us better standards, so that we are not chased out of the world market. Just recently we have had scenarios where our maize was banned from entering Kenya just because of standard issues and aflatoxins. But if we already first of all have steady production, we have insured it, we have set good standards, we don't have to fear taking out this kind of insurance, so that we do other things. We concentrate on our core business while the risks are taken care of by an insurance player, or this consortium that has come in handy. It has actually come at a very good time when we actually need it so much. Let me also take you briefly through the agriculture insurance. This is an example of a farm somewhere in Kampala, and it has many pigs. They labeled for us all the pigs because they are tagged, many of them, but if they are not, we also get a value. So let me just take you down to the total. So these people have about 100 pigs, valued at about 53.3 million. And the premium for it is 3,198,000 for the whole year. However, because I told you government is providing a subsidy, meaning they pay for your premium, now because this is a larger kind of farm, we are charging, or the government will contribute 30% subsidy. There are some other farms that charge we charge 50%, where the government contributes 50% of the premium. So this will be less. Let me just show you. I think, yes. Yeah, it's already incorporated in the computation. So such that the net premium for this client is 2.3. But let me just show you in case it was 50%. Those are for smaller holder farmers. You would find that your premium is just that. But since this is what was covered earlier, let's just maintain it so that you notice the difference. Okay. And when we talk about excess, it's 15% of each and every loss. For all general insurance claims, as a client, you also have to contribute towards the loss, about 15%, and then the insurance company contributes 85%. And I think with that's a brief on agriculture insurance. We'll also talk about briefly marine insurance. This is also something that comes on a policy level. With effective this year, 2021, URI had set a directive that all importers have to use local insurers to insure their merchandise, their consignments from various countries. And the benefit of that is you will insure your items maybe from, say, China or from Dubai or from Japan up to your area of location. Is it Kampala? Is it Busia? Is it Jinja? You mention, you will be covered up to that point. Because initially, if you are to use the insurers of your suppliers, they will just cover up to the port of destination, which in most cases is Mombasa. And that's where their liability will cease. But here, if you're using a local insurer, it will go on beyond the port of destination up to your actual location. I think that is very good news, and that we need to embrace that. We don't need the law to chase us to implement such a thing. Yes, I know Ugandans and Africans usually want the carrot and stick approach. We shouldn't just be punished, but we should look out for enhanced services, better services, so that, first of all, we build our local industry as insurers, but also to keep the money within the economy. Why should it be taken outside? And that was the rationale of actually URA. So let's not wait for the long arm of the law to come and implement. Yes, there are some trade issues that are already happening. There are some policies that are still being worked out so that possibly they reduce the taxes or they increase the taxes, but that's at the policy level. But when it comes to insurance, try to look out for someone or an insurance company that will take care of your marine insurance. Marine insurance means you're importing or you're exporting. And they always look at the value of the CIF, or cost and freight. That is cost of the item that you have bought and then how much it is to traverse them. Then the insurance element comes in when you quote for you. And we usually quote on the pro forma invoice value. And then the time of cover is usually unlimited up to the time the goods get to the point, to your area, maybe to your warehouse. But what are the risks? You know, the pirates on the lake, on the oceans. There are also these road risks. There are vehicles that you have hired to bring this merchandise. Your container can actually also get an accident. But are your goods covered? If you have a marine insurance, you don't have to worry about all that. It could just be just bad weather. And the typhoons, you have seen hurricanes, you have heard of the tsunami affecting people's goods on the oceans. So how have you covered yourself? And yet with insurance, very affordable, because you can find someone with a consignment of about $100,000 US. You are charging the person maybe $100 or maybe $150 for the whole trip, which is something very affordable. So let's embrace insurance. Let's keep tuned for the Actuary's promise to educate you more and also bring now the experts or the companies that are dealing directly with this to give us their promises of how fast, how soon they can deliver these services so that we live an enhanced, better life, with leverage. We shouldn't rely by ourselves for everything that you do as a businessman, as a farmer, as a normal driver. Don't think that you by yourself you can handle everything. Even nations don't rely by themselves. No man is an island. That's why we want to take out this campaign, let it go viral, so that we can not become just victims of shock, but we actually learn from these shock issues and we improve the way we do our things. Let us become better critical thinkers. Let us think out of the box, because now we have that peace of mind to think of other things and not just worry about the business, not staying in the business the whole day because you don't trust your workers, you think they're going to steal you. Yet, if you had insurance, you wouldn't really worry that much. Should anything happen, whether it's a fire that has gutted the business, whether it is an electrical circuit, whether it is collusion of your workers stealing from your business, all that can be covered. So members, thank you so much for your time. There's a lot that we shall be discussing. We are going to be bringing you various partners. We are going to show you the premises of these people. We're going to show you the work time, the trade time that has been promised by these people or the professionals, because the game or the business of insurance is about paying claims. Yeah? So paying claims, and the difference between the company A and company B is how quick, how soon, what other benefits are they providing, what other corporate social responsibility are they doing to their customers out there to enhance and to build their profile, their brand. So we want to hear from them. We are going to be airing on TV over the weekends. We are going to set time, and we are in talks with already some TV stations to give us slots and to buy airtime, and we pray that you can also contribute towards this effort. Again, Emmanuel Safali, your presenter, bring you this Actuary's Promise. Of course, as a professional in the industry in the insurance space, with about 11 years experience under my belt, but also a keen beneficiary of insurance, having been a surveyor myself, but also a promoter, but also an educator of insurance services. I want to thank you for your time again, and I want to sign out today, and let's tune in the next time, again on this very channel that you have aired. Please send us your feedback on the social media channels. There is Twitter, there is Facebook, there is YouTube channel. Everything is going to be laid out on the screen below. I want to thank you again. Let's tune in next time. Hope for the best while preparing for the worst. Thank you.